Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful personal documents ever written, the private diary of a young girl who, against all odds, ended up becoming a voice for millions.
Paper has more patience than people. This one simple thought from a 13-year-old girl is really the key to everything. It's the private beliefs that somehow, almost accidentally, gave birth to a public legacy that changed the world. So that's the big question, right? How on earth does this happen? How do the private musings of a schoolgirl, literally hiding for her life, become one of the most important books of the 20th century? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. Okay, so before this diary became this huge historical artifact, you gotta remember what it really was at its core. It was a solution to a very common, very human problem: loneliness. This wasn't about making history. It was about finding a connection. And what's just incredible is that Anne herself was completely filled with doubt. She wrote this genuinely believing that nobody would ever care about her thoughts. But she just had this overwhelming need to get it all out, to get it off her chest. I mean, if you looked at her life from the outside, it seems like she had it all, right? She lists it out: loving family, tons of friends, a good home. But she felt like something massive was missing. She had plenty of people to have fun with, but no one she could get really close to. And that was the problem she was trying to solve. So what did she do? Well, she created a friend. It's that simple and that brilliant. By naming her diary Kitty, she wasn't just writing in a book anymore. She was writing to her most trusted companion, the one place she could be 100% herself. All right, so let's shift gears a bit, because this intensely personal project also ended up becoming a crucial first-hand witness to history, capturing what daily life was like inside a hidden world. And this timeline, wow, it just lays out the stark, heartbreaking reality of what her family went through. They fled Germany for Holland, only to be forced into hiding for more than 2 years before the unthinkable happened. They were betrayed and they were arrested. This really captures the central tension of the diary. It's like these two worlds are existing at the same time. Inside the annex, you have the boredom, the fear, the arguments, but also the hope and the laughter. And all of that is happening against the backdrop of the terrifying reality of war and persecution just outside their walls. And this quote, it's maybe her most famous, and for a very good reason. You have to just stop and think about the context here. Despite living through the absolute worst of human cruelty, she could still write this. Her diary is this incredible testament to her optimism. So for Anne, writing wasn't just, a hobby or a way to pass the long, quiet hours. No way. It was a defiant act. It was a lifeline that kept her spirit alive. That diary, her friend Kitty, became the one and only place where she was not imprisoned. Inside those pages, her thoughts, her dreams, her frustrations, her spirit could just roam absolutely free, far beyond the walls of the secret annex. And when you read her entries, you just see this incredible mind at work. She's a young girl, but she's grappling with these huge, mature themes: identity, human nature, her place in the world, with a depth that is it's truly astonishing for her age. But we don't just have to take people's word for what her personality was like. She shows us herself. Let me tell you this perfect little story about her humor and confidence from before she ever went into hiding. Okay, so picture this. Anne's in math class, and her teacher, an old fogey as she called him, is just constantly annoyed with how much she talks. So as punishment, he assigns her essays. But Anne? Well, Anne was more than a match for him. So for the third and final punishment essay, she does something absolutely brilliant. Instead of another essay, she writes a poem, and it's this darkly funny little masterpiece that completely flips the joke back on her teacher.
And get this, it worked. He not only got the joke, but he loved it so much that he read it out loud to all his other classes. And from that day on, he let Anne talk. She didn't just win the argument, she completely won him over with her wit and creativity. All right, so for our final section, let's really dig into the legacy. How did this one girl's intensely personal diary become this universal symbol of hope, a voice for the voiceless? Well, after the war, tragically, her father, Otto Frank, was the only person from the secret annex to survive. When he was given her diary, he knew he had to share it with the world. He worked to get it published, and it has since become this global phenomenon. So why?
Why does it connect with so many people, decades later? I think it's because it taps into these fundamental human experiences that we all get. The struggle for hope, the power of resilience, the search for who you are, especially when things are tough.
And that's really the magic of it, isn't it? The diary's true power is its ability to take this vast, incomprehensible horror of the Holocaust and to shrink it down to the daily thoughts and feelings of one relatable, funny, brilliant young person. It makes the unthinkable personal. And that brings us right back to the beginning. Anne started her diary thinking her words wouldn't matter to anyone. But it turns out they ended up mattering to the entire world, offering comfort, a vital warning, and a timeless perspective. Her musings mattered because they captured something truly indestructible, the human spirit.